There is nothing more important than talking to your teens in order to avoid risky sexual behavior. Be clear about your values. What are your beliefs about sex? Are you going to let your faith or religion guide your conversation with your teen? Make sure that before you talk to your teen, you are clear about your personal values. Talk about facts versus beliefs. Sometimes what you believe about sex is not going to be able to be proven with facts. It is your responsibility to let your teen know that there are different beliefs about sex, and it is okay to disagree with those other people, and that their opinions should be respected. Practice what you preach, but don't preach. A good example needs to be set for your teen. The values that you have outlined and discussed with them should be able to be seen. If your teen does not see that you respect and abide by your beliefs, then they are less likely to find them important or valuable. On the other hand, you should not talk at your teenager, but to them. Ask them open-ended questions, respond honestly, and openly share information with them. Keep the conversation going. After the talk, your talking about the subject should not end there. That should be the first of many conversations about sex you have with your teenager. Assure your teen that you are open to talk about anything and everything, anytime they need to.
Is there anything wrong you can do as a parent in giving the sex talk or talking things about?
Absolutely. The worst thing that you can do as a parent, no question, is to think that you can have the talk one time. Right. Because it's not a one time. In practice, when I talk to parents, they'll say, I had the talk. And then I'll ask the kids, and the kids don't remember it because it happened one time.
Right.
So this is a years-long process where you have different stages of it over and over and over. And as the kids get older, they start getting more detailed. So at 3, the questions are totally different than at 11, and that's appropriate. Right. But they won't come to you at 11 unless you start the conversation when they're young.
In order to gain greater insight on the matter of advising teachers how to deal with the issue of adolescent sexuality, a series of interviews were conducted in 2011. The teachers were asked if they had any advice for students in the teaching program about how to manage a situation in which they were confronted with students who seemed to be engaging in risky sexual behaviors. The following are their responses. Anonymous Teacher 1 stated, "My school has a policy that we are to inform the school counselor of any suspected or evident risky behavior any student may be engaging in, and the school counselor takes it from there. My school does encourage abstinence." Both Christine Cavett and Anonymous Teacher 2 had similar responses, although neither have had much experience in the situation. I've dealt with a lot of kids engaging in extremely inappropriate sexual language. I pull them aside and explain that kind of talk is not allowed and will be reported to the office. I always call the parents and inform the principal of the situation. Christine Cavett. We are encouraged to talk with the student first about the inappropriate or risky behavior, then contact the principal and parent to discuss further action. Anonymous Teacher 2. 3 students were asked their preference for action if their teacher found out they were engaging in risky sexual behaviors. Would they want the teachers to talk with them and/or contact their parents? The following are their responses. I really wouldn't care either way. If the teacher talked to me about it, I'd listen but not really listen, and she could call my parents all she wanted, but they don't care what I do, so none of these questions are really relevant to me and my situation. Anonymous Male Student 2. Parents were asked how they would prefer a teacher to handle the situation of finding out that their child was engaging in risky sexual behaviors. Should they be contacted immediately? Their responses are below. It was a consensus that the parents contacted immediately and the parents would ultimately take a course of action. I would hope that the teacher would call immediately for a conference with my husband and I to discuss what exactly the teacher knows. However, I do not think it is the teacher's place to have a conversation about this with my child. Merely, I would hope the teacher would sit my child down and encourage him or her to speak with myself or their father about this. Bates. I would want to be contacted immediately and informed of everything the teacher knows about the risky sexual behaviors. I would then take care of the situation myself. I would not mind if the teacher spoke briefly to my child about the inappropriate behavior, because they may be more apt to tell the teacher more information. Baldwin. We expect the teacher to discourage the behaviors of our child and to contact us for a meeting about the situation. We hope to establish a relationship with our children that would allow them to come to us and tell us anything. Stewart. Through our research, we examine the source of messages teens receive about sex, the best ways to educate them about sexual behavior, advice for parents, and advice for teachers. It is our conclusion that in order to maintain the healthy behaviors of adolescents, parents and teachers need to work hand in hand with their students and children, maintaining a positive dialogue throughout.